Good evening. We're in Athens, Greece. I'm about to check out a Greek arcade museum. Apparently they're not open for business yet, so we could be one of the first. Having a little trouble locating it, but when we get in there, well, you'll be the first to see. Okay, I think we've found it. Found a little Mario and Sonic right there, look. Alright then, let's go, see what's cooking. Okay, so we're here, the Greek Arcade Museum. It's pretty cool. So I've been speaking with the owner. He's told me so many things, so I'm going to try and remember all of those and relay them back to you while I'm filming the arcade. So let's go. So when you come in, well, let me start. Okay, so Greece, they have a bit of a history with video games. Back in 2002, Greece banned arcades in the entire country. So imagine that, for 22 years now, you can't really go to an arcade and play video games, kind of. There's a few exceptions and circumstances. And this museum will feature games from 1980 to the year 2000. So that's the machines you're going to see in this video. And it's basically for legal requirements. And because this is a museum, it's not an arcade. If it was an arcade, then it wouldn't be allowed. So it's for educational purposes. Daytona 2. So with that in mind, if you book to see this arcade, you will have a guided tour of the arcade. So this is like the legal requirement. You see arcade museums in Netherlands, Poland, so it's very different from those. They can kind of call themselves a museum, sort of wiggle around the paperwork. I'm sure there's more to it than that. But with this one in particular, you will come in and book a slot. You will have a guided tour of the arcade that meets the requirements, the legal requirements anyway. So then after your guided tour, oh, look at these little manuals here. It's cool, isn't it? After your guided tour, you can be let loose on the arcade/museum for 3 hours. Then you can play whatever you want, as much as you want. And I think on each tour there's 30 people, so I believe the area will have 30 people up to one time. So you'll be sharing the arcade if you decide to come with 29 others. So right now, pretty random actually, I was visiting Athens and I was saying, oh, can we come look at the arcade? What I didn't realize was yeah, they're about to open for the first time. They're just waiting for the approval from the ministry or whoever decides these things. And then they're going to flip the switch and it's going to be open for the first time. So this is probably the first video you're ever going to see on this location. We kind of feel really lucky. So thank you to the owner for inviting us in and having a look at the machines. Absolutely amazing. And for me, this is great. This is personally my era of arcade games, so it's actually great seeing some of these machines here. It's the owner actually has 350 machines, I think he said, but these are a select 100 from his collection that he's featuring in the museum. I imagine he's going to change them out now and then, so what you see now may be not reflective of what could be here in 6 months' time, as things are going to be, changed around and whatnot. But he showed me his storage units on his phone, and yeah, there's absolutely loads of stuff in storage, so yeah, there's, I imagine, more exciting things to come. But he was saying a lot of these are barn finds. You find them in farms, various places. We heard a similar story in Slovakia as well. Arcade in Bratislava, again, we're finding a lot of machines in barns, farms, various things. And he was saying they would repair some of these machines while the animals in the same room. So with that, you probably find all sorts of animal droppings in the machines and things. So they've actually been painstakingly restored and yeah, ready for hopefully for the museum to open. Yeah, look, Play Choice 10, look at that. So some of these machines, they come from various different countries, UK, America, France, pretty much, I guess, where you can get a hold of them for a reasonable price. And coming back to the tour real quickly, when you come in and have the tour, it's not just like, oh, learn about this game, it came out in 1980, but he'll show you some of the electronics here, and you can learn about the insides, the processors, the speeds, things like that. So you get a little bit of an education. And I think he was saying the people that live in the area, like if you're born in Athens, born in Greece, then there is some sort of reduction on that entry fee. I don't know whether it's a reduced price or free, I'm not sure, I don't quite remember. My brain isn't what it used to be. Yeah, look at that, Pong. It's cool, isn't it? Wow. So yeah, if you... So this Holosseum, when I arrived it wasn't working, and we had a fiddle in the back and managed to get it working. So if you want to see Holosseum, I made a separate video on this. I'll try and remember to link it in the description below. But it's basically holographic images meets Street Fighter by Sega. The image going to the TV is flipped horizontally and vertically, so I'll link that in the description below. You can check it out. It has these cool ashtrays on here, and this is a Greek drachma before they went to the euro. I vaguely remember them when I was younger, but I haven't seen them for a very long time. And the coin mechanisms, because we have such a diverse range of currencies, I mean, a lot of places are moving to the euro, but we still have a diverse range. You're seeing coin mechanisms from the Deutschmark before Germany went to the euro. You might even see Czech crowns. You'll see quarters from the Americas, pounds from the UK, and still drachma coin slots as well from before Greece went to the euro. So yeah, lots of fun and exciting things to see. If you care about coin mechanisms, you probably don't because you're not a loser like me. But if you do, then yeah, there's that as well. So I think everything is on original hardware apart from Star Wars. I believe I remember that correctly. If not, I apologize. But yeah, 10p, it's from the UK. So yeah, funny thing about these machines here, which I'll show you in a second. So again, yeah, a lot of these are barn find, painstakingly restored. What's cool about this location as well is you got these credit buttons here. Put a credit in, but it tells you a bit more information than the average museum. It tells you about the processor, the cycles, and various other things. And the owner was very passionate about teaching people of the museum, visitors, about how they work. You know, how maybe Double Dragon runs quite slow, but next to that the machines run faster. They can learn about processing, arcades, wiring, all things like that. So I think it might be quite interesting. And because the museum isn't opened yet, I imagine those things will change. But that seems to be the plan anyway. But yeah, the most interesting thing about these cabinets right here. Now these cabinets are made in Greece. They're made of wood. You can kind of see here. They got these metal strips in, but underneath there is actual wood. I think one is missing here, so I can show you. So yeah, look, wooden cabinets made in Greece. But the reason arcade machines were banned is because locations were illegally converting them to gambling machines. And you can actually see here. Why does Pac-Man have a return coin slot down there? So what they would do is make these cabinets, and inside they would have two boards. One would be Pac-Man in here, and then they'd have another one which would be like a slot game, a gambling arcade, because in Greece, in cafes, they would have arcade machines. You'd buy a coffee, a soda, and you'd have various games in there. That's how it was. And then over the years, people were converting them to illegal gambling machines. I hope you can see what's here, by the way. Next Glory, Run Gun, Arch Rivals, Tetris. And what they would do, they'd have a key in the front here. So you could turn this key, and you would think it would open this, but it actually flips the board internally. So right now it's running power spikes. You turn the key, oh, we have gambling. So what would happen if the police would show up outside the location? Boom, you have your original game, boom, back to gambling. But then they would fit remote devices as well, where you would have one little interrupt on the circuit, or something in the circuitry anyway, where you could press a button and all the machines would flip back to their original games. But yeah, I guess when the government finally got wind of everything, they just made an outright blanket ban, a prohibition, if you will, on arcade gaming in general, and it's been that way since 2002. Check it out. Okay. So yeah, look at these things here. Look. I think we've all taken a controller apart, right, to try and fix it or convert it to something else. Pang, Double Dragon. So I think I've said everything I remember. If I remember anything else, I'll put it in the description below. I'm not sure on the price. I think it was around 12 euros for the tour and the 3 hours. But if I'm wrong, then I'll correct that in the description. Basically, read the description. It has all the correct information because I'm going to research it all before I upload the video. But yeah, they have little consoles here. I think the plan is they're going to add some LEDs and various things in here. But what he was saying to us was they have the lease here until July 2025. So just over a year, and when that lease is up, they're going to try and get a bigger location. Look at that, Harlem Globetrotters on tour. Wow. So if you decide to visit, the location might be nearby. It might look quite different, but this is a taste of just under a third of the collection. So I imagine you might see these machines still just in a different building or in a different order or whatnot. Yeah, look at these. So these slots here will be probably drachma coin slots. But yeah, all Greek cabinets here. It's quite interesting going to different countries and seeing different cabinets. We went to the Pinball Museum in Budapest. We saw some Hungarian cabinets. Yes, quite interesting seeing how different, different machines look and whatnot. All right, so let's look at the last area here. Like I say, work in progress. We're not officially open yet here, but I think everything is almost up and running here. Well, so we got Time Crisis too. But yeah, the owner seems super enthusiastic about reintroducing arcades to the Greek people, especially. And not only that, but just kind of teaching people about arcade machines. He was saying, oh, well, it might not be profitable. I hope it's profitable, but he can keep the place afloat. And, it just radiates passion, doesn't it? I mean, arcades aren't really a profitable industry. They can be. But there is a lot of work required in kind of making them a success. It's that Aerosmith gun game again. Virtual Cop 2. Wow. Phoenix. But yeah, he seems super passionate about the games. We had a chat for just over an hour. Yeah, super passionate. So if you've never heard of the Greek Arcade Museum, maybe you run a museum, maybe you run an arcade, give them some support. Comment on the video below. Let them know maybe what you want to see, what you think of the museum. If you're familiar with Greek arcade lore, then maybe some tips and tricks associated with that. But yeah, it's great, absolutely great. You just don't really see arcades in Greece. It's going to be pretty exciting, one of the first of its kind in recent years. So it's going to be exciting, and who knows what the future holds. But this is the Greek Arcade Museum. What do you think? Let me know. But yeah, if you want to say anything to the owner, you can like their Facebook page. I put all the contact information in the description. But also leave a comment as well. Let him know what you think. I guess he's still taking ideas for the museum. I guess everything's not super finalized. Yeah, leave some feedback. I mean, what do you think? It's pretty cool, isn't it? You're not going to see new games here because they have so many requirements with CE certifications. So it's sort of like a time capsule in time, 1980 to 2002, something like that, so 20 years. And I imagine that could change in the future, who knows. But yeah, any ideas with those constraints and chains in mind, then yeah, let us know. All right, I hope you enjoyed the tour. I like the Sonic keychain.